Strider started in the arcades of the 80s, and its unique action and atmosphere quickly found its way to home consoles. This time around, Strider is touted as a Metroidvania-style experience, and at first glance it appears to fit the billing. While there's freedom to stray from the intended path to search for secrets, with quite a bit of backtracking, ultimately Strider is very linear in its progression. Zones aren't seamlessly connected and come off as insulated levels rather than part of a larger world like in Metroid or Castlevania. There are obstacles that you can't overcome at first, that you can come back to later with a new ability, but these aren't well implemented.
I can't believe it!
It doesn't help that many of Strider's earliest environments feel similar, sporting a bland aesthetic which doesn't capitalize on the unique look and feel of its predecessors. Even some standout areas later on do little to enrich the game's half-hearted visual vibe. One of the hallmarks of a great Metroidvania is the diverse look and feel of its various interconnected zones. Strider fails to achieve this, leaving you with the sense that each environment is more like a separate cell than a part of a larger world. The majority of the game lacks soul and fails to take many risks. While there are no shortage of nostalgic moments and throwbacks to the original game, not much feels new or exciting. Even the early bosses are laughably easy, barely standing out from the legions of soldiers and robotic menaces that serve as fodder for Strider's Cypher Blade. This changes as you near the end, but that's a long time to wait. However, the game is not without some redeemable qualities. About 2/3 of the way through the story, when Strider's true potential is finally unlocked via all the power-ups and special abilities you've collected, the game finally takes off the training wheels and hurls everything it's got at you. It's in these final segments that Strider turns into a frantic, arcade-style action game that harkens back to the essence of the older installments. What makes the combat so fun at these moments is the wide variety of abilities and powers you've unlocked. Swapping between 4 different types of blades to more efficiently cut through certain types of foes and obstacles mixes it up nicely. Strider's acrobatic prowess is also impressive, with the ability to double jump and dash in any direction. Throw in the ability to temporarily summon animal companions, and you have the makings of a very appealing combat system. While this all sounds great in theory, it's all for nothing if there are control issues holding you back. One of the most frequent nuisances involves Strider's ability to cling to surfaces and scale walls and ceilings. While this certainly adds some variety to the platforming, Strider feels way too sticky when clinging to surfaces. It's not a deal breaker in the early goings, but towards the end it gets frustrating not being able to easily detach from a surface as intended. There's also a problem with the way you control Strider. You strictly move around using the analog stick. There's no option to use the D-pad for movement, which is strictly reserved for swapping out Strider's 4 blade types once you've gathered each. While the analog stick does a decent job, it fails to offer the precision demanded by the game's later segments, and sometimes tricky platforming bits. It's simply inexcusable in this day and age for a strictly 2D, side-scrolling action game to not offer some sort of digital input for movement. Double Helix made an admirable attempt at reinventing Strider for the modern era with a new look and other amenities like online leaderboards. In some ways, it successfully recaptures the action of older games, but too often it misses the mark when it comes to delivering a solid Metroidvania experience. It's a game torn between 2 personalities, and it shows. The new Strider is at its best when it's delivering arcade-style action moments, but sadly, these come too infrequently and too late for its own good.